times and telling me directly that his attorney general might go after reporters if he doesn't like what we have reported. Donald Trump has made it perfectly clear that he would like to use the power of the federal government to silence his critics.
President Trump suggesting TV networks critical of him could be stripped of their licenses. President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping holding a call as they look to finalize a deal to stop TikTok from being banned in the U.S. Monday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the two sides had agreed to a framework for a deal. Under a federal law, the Chinese-owned company must divest the social media platform's U.S. business or face being shut down in the states. Members of a key vaccine advisory panel appointed by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. voting Thursday to change the guidelines for the shots millions of children receive. Here's ABC News senior national correspondent Steve Osunsanmi at the CDC in Atlanta.
This mother of a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old from Miami tells us she's confused and frustrated by the changes, worried about wild stories that vaccines could hurt her child, but at the same time realizing that they stop dangerous diseases.
It's very difficult to make a decision because of all the information, not just from the CDC, not just from our government, but from other voices online and all around us.
Federal panel under attack by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Tensions rising between the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction and the U.S. Department of Education. During the State of Education address Thursday, DPI State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly called out federal officials.
The Federal Department of Education is using critical funding as a bargaining chip, threatening or withholding it with little or no notice, while demanding compliance with unclear and unlawful demands.
Earlier this month, the Department of Education said it was withholding nearly $11 million toward training special education instructors and supporting programs that support deaf-blind children. Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany appears ready to enter the 2026 Wisconsin's governor's race. The Hazelhurst lawmaker hosting an event in Wausau on September 24th that multiple GOP sources say will serve as his campaign launch. Tiffany would join Washington County Executive Josh Shulman and businessman Bill Berrien in the Republican primary. 5 Democrats already running to replace Governor Tony Evers, the primary less than a year away. Wisconsin's unemployment holding steady last month while the number of available workers went down.
Department of Workforce Development economist Scott Hodak says the labor force decreased by 7,100 last month.
Basically, the underlying labor challenges remains demographic. It's that baby boomers are aging out of the labor force. That's kind of underpinning most of the changes overall in the economy and most of the things we're dealing with.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the state's unemployment rate sitting at 3.1%. That's below the national unemployment rate of 4.3%. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. In the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, the Dow is up 37 points, NASDAQ up 70, S&P 500 up 7. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to the host of Hoops Tonight, Jim Tipp. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory is arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit freighter.com/heart.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers secured a series sweep. Milwaukee beat the Los Angeles Angels 5-2 at home. Brewers on the road to begin a series with the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Wisconsin football team playing the waiting game with its quarterback. Badgers signal caller Billy Edwards Jr. will be a game-time decision for Saturday's game against Maryland. Edwards hasn't played since UW's Week 1 win over Miami of Ohio due to a knee injury. Badger Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. Packers will play their first away game of the season this weekend. Green Bay will face the Browns Sunday. Packers have won their last 4 meetings with Cleveland. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Friday light, typical drive times. Highway 16 to the Zoo, about 11 minutes. The Zoo to the Marquette Interchange take you about 6. 43 south from Brown Deer Road to the Marquette Interchange running about 14 minutes. Traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny, 75 today. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly after 10 tonight. Overnight low 64. Chance of showers and thunderstorms again tomorrow. Maybe a thunderstorm after about 1 p.m. Mostly cloudy, high 75. Showers and thunderstorms Sunday, 75 again. And that chance lingers into Monday. High Monday near 76. Just a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 p.m. on Tuesday. High near 72 on Tuesday. 70 in Madison, 65 in Green Bay, 71 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Show. Kristin, how are you on this Friday, this fine Friday?
I'm excellent. I'm ready for the weekend.
All right, as we were chatting with the boys, the men.
Gang's
the boys
all back in town.
First time in quite a while.
Yeah.
Everybody's been doing their things and off somewhere. And how was the Alabama-Wisconsin
I
game?
wore red today despite not bringing back a victory or even...
You had one job.
Even a competitive game for that matter.
But I bet you
had a great
fun.
time with my boys.
Two boys, yeah.
I did.
That's got to be. What was the highlight of that trip? Other than the fact you were with two
We
sons.
got a helicopter tour of Tuscaloosa, including over the stadium. Yeah.
Oh.
From the
Look at this guy rolling with the high rollers. How about that?
It was pretty cool.
How'd you hold up in that?
I was a little freaked out.
I'm getting to the age where, the last time I tried to go on a roller coaster, it was a new experience, and I'm like, oh, this is what happens to your body when you get older.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to do this again.
tried to talk them out of me going, that I didn't need to be on that little excursion, but I ended up in there, and it was great. We flew over Nick Saban's house, and we had a good time.
Tour.
Yeah.
All right. Not that there's ever a shortage of things to talk about, but this week ain't that. There's just obviously so many pieces to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we've obviously, Joe and I talked about it last week. I kind of want to go back to that because I think that's the beginning infrastructure of what's going to be a long-form conversation about what all this means to America, what it means for our country, free speech. I mean, we'll start with free speech, but when you look at it now, what are we, 2 weeks later?
10 days.
10
No,
days.
not even 2 weeks.
10 days.
Bill, you were off last week. Just sort of give us your thoughts about what happened that day and maybe what's happened since.
I got a chance to listen to you guys from the Dallas airport, and there's not really much you said that I would have disagreed with. I think we tracked a lot. For me, it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. I'd never met Charlie Kirk. My youngest son knows him pretty well and met him on the campaign, got to know him better on the transition, and then certainly knew him in the first 7 months of the administration. But for me, I didn't expect to take it as hard as I did. But having witnessed that it was jarring, right? For people who are in public life and to think that you could go on a college campus of all places and have a debate or a discussion, whatever you want to call it. It was pretty civil. I will tell the listeners, I never watched Charlie Kirk before he was assassinated. I've now watched 5, 6, 7 hours of his stuff. And I didn't find him to be hateful or mean-spirited or disrespectful. I think my message here is, I happened to be on TV the night he was shot, and my message was, everybody's got to take a deep breath. This is way out of hand. Political violence should never be acceptable on either side of the aisle, whether it's Melissa Hortman. And by the way, the people who get forgotten in that one is a state senator named John Hoffman and his wife, who were shot multiple times and somehow miraculously survived.
Thankfully.
So there was more than one group or couple shot that night. But none of that's acceptable, and society has to say enough. That is not going to be acceptable, and we'll get to Governor Doyle in a little while, and I got an opportunity to deliver that message. But my advice is for people to listen to the other side, what they're saying. It may not be what you think it is or what you're told it is. Just listen with an open mind, and I think that's how you resolve things, like we do on Fridays here. We don't agree on everything, but I listen to Joe's points, he listens to mine, and sometimes we find the middle, right? And otherwise we support the position, but I leave here with him as my friend and I'm his friend. And that's how it should be in politics. So my hope is that, and we'll get to Jimmy Kimmel too, but if you cannot speak on a campus without risk of losing your life, we are in a very dark place.
You and I had a chance last week to talk a lot about this, but I know you want to add to that.
Well, I'll just say very, very well said, and you were great on Channel 15 in Madison, and I did see that. As I've had more time to reflect and think about where we are, I got to rib you. We're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too old for Charlie Kirk. he wasn't trying to reach
probably
you.
Was the reason.
He
wasn't trying to reach
people. I've been thinking a lot about the information bubbles we live in. And a couple people have made this point. I'm going to quote Keith Olbermann, who sometimes a little nuts for me. But he pointed out that as he thinks about it, he says, it is clear that there were two different public Charlie Kirks. And depending on where you are as a consumer of news and information, you were given different versions. On the left, you were given the sort of mocking of Democratic victims, not sufficiently contrite about other examples of political violence. And on the right, and I've seen this in my own social media feeds with people I went to high school with, who they literally never saw that stuff. They never saw the political stuff they did. They saw a young man armed with a Bible talking about family values. And so to me, it's like a good example of what we mean when we talk about living in information bubbles and how we are all way too captive to algorithms that are designed to make us feel emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's part of the problem here, is that people are multifaceted and complex, and no one can be reduced to, well, I've seen a 7-second clip of this person on the internet, so now I know the content of their character,
right?
And whether they will pass St. Peter's judgment. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we have to just be clear about that.
I want to take a break, but when we come back, I'd actually, speaking to that specifically, I want to get your guys' opinion on how much the algorithm, the social media platforms poured gasoline on this entire situation. Because I've had a lot of conversations this week of how quickly that video was available everywhere and disseminated, when they have the resources to throttle things like that, and they didn't. And so I want to have a conversation with that, because I feel like there's probably a lot of agreement there that we have. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into the social media aspect of all of this with Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki. I'm Kristin, he's Steve, and this is Point Taken.
You have never been to an all-inclusive resort? Well, neither have I. Hi, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi, and this winter, we're going to rectify that. My wife, Kathy, and I have teamed up with Fox World Travel to check another travel wish item off our list, and you are invited to join us. We'll be flying nonstop from Milwaukee to sunny Cancun and staying at the ultra-chic luxury resort Secrets the Vine. This adults-only all-inclusive resort offers unlimited luxury where so much is included. Best-in-class service, gourmet a la carte restaurants, top-shelf drinks, 24-hour room and concierge service, endless day and nighttime activities, and more. Come with us, soak up the sun on the beach or one of 3 sparkling infinity pools. Enjoy sommelier-led wine tasting or explore the Cancun area. You know my trips sell out fast, so if you want more information about the February festivities, contact a travel advisor at Fox by calling 866-GO-FOX-GO or their fabulous website, foxworldtravel.com.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Imagine that unbelievable new deck in your backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck builder, building new decks and replacing old ones, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax in your own backyard. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's resourceful Waukesha showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Thanks for tuning in on this Friday. It's always a special day when we have Bill and Joe in studio, Kristin and Steve on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ. Still, I think, the best show on politics in the state of Wisconsin on radio. So always appreciate you guys finding us. And if you missed any or all of it, podcast available or text the word point and we'll point you right to it. Can't make it easier than that other than telling you how to spell point, which is P-O-I-N-T last time I checked. There, I really made it easy for you folks. You wanted to hit on a topic.
So I talked to a friend this week who isn't even on social media nearly as much as I am, but she was saying how she saw the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot within minutes of it happening, and so did her 2 children who were in 7th grade and a sophomore in high school. And I said this earlier this week as far as someone who put out a video, a couple videos, and got hundreds of thousands of more views than I typically get on the stuff that I put on social media. And what that tells me is that the opportunity for any of these platforms to slow down the rhetoric as things got so ugly, they did the opposite. And I think a lot of the thought coming out of these last 10 days is showing how ugly social media can be, what a lack of regulation we have in any of these platforms, and how much they are profiting off of our rage and our division. And I personally have been struggling with, do I want to be part of those kind of, the only thing we have right now is our personal responsibility on either to not be there at all or what we do and say when we are on there. And so I guess I wanted to get your guys' reaction because I feel like this is actually where we probably have some common ground.
I'm going to give you an example. So on social media, on Facebook, I'm friends with a lot of different people from all walks of life. And one of them is a former coach of mine, a hockey coach from when I was 14 years old. And he was posting some vile stuff, in my opinion. And I normally don't post on other people's pages. But I said, hey, coach, you got to ask yourself, are you helping or hurting the conversation by posting this stuff? And he lost his absolute S. He did. And then he attacked me and continued to post. Ultimately, I blocked him, but some people can't get over it. And this isn't right or left. People on my side still want to make this a right or left thing. This is right versus wrong. And shooting someone is wrong.
Always wrong.
Always wrong. Doesn't matter what party they are or what their affiliation is. Maybe that's a contributing factor at some point, but you got a case you can prove pretty easily against Tyler Robinson without all the rest of that stuff. Okay? So you got to look in the mirror and say, what can I do to make this better? And that was my point to my old coaches. Really? You need to put that stuff out there? You're just inflaming people. He didn't care. That was his thing.
Rather than a personal anecdote, I'll take it to the policy, which is and the need for regulation of these social media platforms. There has been a lot of debate over the last few years about Section 230, but no action.
Right.
And so what Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act does is it acts as a shield protecting the social media platforms from anything that users generate and place on their platforms.
Right.
Which is not perhaps a terrible notion, right? But it also has now been taken to extremes where these platforms are using Section 230 as a shield to say, well, we're not going to do content moderation. there needs to be a right and left approach to regulate responsibly these social media platforms. And for folks, the barn door's open, the horses are out. Like, at some point, like, regulation is called for. People drove cars for years, long before there were seatbelt laws, right?
And speed limits.
Right, or speed limits. So, like, there comes a time when policymakers have a responsibility to say, maybe this was well-intentioned, Section 230 at the beginning, but now it's being abused and misused by these platforms. So we're going to change the rules of the road a little bit. And it doesn't mean that Meta is suddenly going to go out of business. Like, give me a break.
Not even close.
These are the most, like, profitable corporations in the world.
Right.
But there's also the thing that you were saying, there's now increasing amount of data that Russia very much capitalized on this situation as far as bot farms and sowing, even like not real people being in comment sections and fanning the flames. Thank you. Even more.
Yes.
And taking advantage of the situation. And so I don't even know how you regulate against that either, but it just feels like it is a situation ripe to continue for our adversaries to continue to poke the bear.
And here's the point. Like, this is now, and has been for years, a national security risk that the United States faces, which is our politics have become so divisive and people don't trust one another that our adversaries globally see an opening, and anytime something hits a flashpoint like this, they see, like, right, there's always going to be nuts on both sides saying crazy stuff, but they go, well, if we fan those flames a little bit, it's going to get worse, and America will be even weaker. That's a problem.
While all three of you are talking, I'm looking at the text line, and I noticed a couple right off the top that they have gotten rid of their social media. And I've talked to people personally that have also done the same thing, and I've advocated for this, at least to the point, if you're not getting rid of it, craft it in the way that you want. Block people that are hate mongers or always have nonsense, always want to be, the person that's like, they just want to incite people to get crazy. I've seen families break up because of this stuff. This is only going to get fixed if actually serious people want it to get fixed. And in this country, that means Congress, that means elected leaders in states that actually want to do something. We always have this battle. Well, the content creators, they need this to make their, you know what? At some point, someone has to say something that's this. Stop.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
This is too much. It's crazy. You don't need to be addicted. You don't need to be doom scrolling for hours every night or creating content that, 300 people see. That's not a real thing.
Oh, I'd rather it be content 300 people see, right? Like, if somebody wants to just
more than 5.
Right, if somebody wants to do a little how-to video, they figure out how to fix their dishwasher, and
that's the only good thing I like about the internet.
There's value in that, and they're not going to make $1 million off it because the algorithm isn't wired for it. But if you go on and you say, oh, frame by frame, there's a giant conspiracy around where the shooter actually was at Utah Valley State, that the algorithm is going to juice, and 300 people aren't going to see it, 300,000 are. And so we're monetizing division and nonsense. Like, that's not healthy.
Here's how serious I am about this. Because there's really no way to contact Facebook. There's really no way to contact Twitter. I'm going to find a way that has a phone number and email attached, and we are going to bombard these people all over their you-know-whats, because I'm sick of this.
Good luck finding that phone number.
Good luck finding that phone number.
Yeah,
that's an intentional design.
I don't care if it's an office in New York City or we're going to find it, and we're going to start doing this stuff.
Good.
And whether you like that or not, I don't really care. But if you're one of these people that peddles this nonsense on any of the social media platforms, you are the frickin' problem. And anybody who does what I do and is doing this and is promoting hate, and I heard it last week in this market, man, I would start thinking long and hard about your future, because that's not one that I want to be a part of. And maybe this community or this state or this country probably should think otherwise. Kristin, Steve, Point Taken, Bill, and Joe. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this.
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano from Wisconsin's Morning News. It's baseball season, which means Brewers 360 is back every day at 8:40. Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Every day, all season long, we're joined exclusively by Brewers guests, including manager Pat Murphy and more. So Murphy, as we're wrapping up our interview.
Great talking. We really enjoyed it, okay?
I was like, you did? Is he just in a good mood, or what'd y'all do to Murph?
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Abbott. I love talking about Abbott. You know that. Snoring, tossing and turning. Is that your story? Is that your bed life? Well, it doesn't have to be. Do something about it. I did something about it 5+ years ago. I went to Abbott, had a conversation with their docs. They put me at ease. We added a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, very common problem, sinuses and nasal passage in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing better than ever, sleeping through the whole night. My wife, Kathy, says thanks for that. If you struggle with restless nights like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Do not wait. Why would you? Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
You know, Dad, there are a lot of things that make Marty's Pizza special.
Well, you got our untouched original recipe for our pizza sauce, and we have our own sausage made for us with our own recipe. We make everything fresh. Our own meatballs, our lasagna, our dough every day. We cut our vegetables fresh every day.
It's a labor of love.
This is Dick the Dad.
And James the Son from Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
Find out what keeps our loyal customers coming back for generations.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Remember, Marty's Pizza.
Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that.
Remember, Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for fall fun.
Busy Friday, lots to talk about. We've spent some time on the assassination of Charlie Kirk and, what's changed. We're going to probably spend a lot of time talking about the impact of freedom of speech and where that conversation goes next. What qualifies, what counts, who does what, who says what, where they can say it, when they can say it. I mean, it's like a million pieces of this story. Everybody's got an opinion on social media, as we were just talking about. Just like frame it in the next minute. We have each you guys have a minute, and we'll add some time or add some comments if we have time. Like where this conversation, the Kimmel conversation is going.
So I think most people have been very responsible and have sort of taken a step back and taken a breath in the last 10 days, as they should have, as we all should have. My frustration, fear, and concern is that actors within the Trump administration have gone the other way, and now we are running the risk of state, dictation of speech and what is allowed and what is not. And so I give the American people writ large and almost every elected official, right or left, credit for being responsible, but I can't extend that same belief to the actions of Brendan Carr at the FCC and some of the things that the president and vice president and just a small number of members of Congress have said. And that's what we'll get into next hour.
Little time for Bill.
I agree with Joe, and we're going to get to the Kimmel stuff. But, my hope is Sunday's memorial service for Charlie Kirk in Arizona, people focus on what he stood for and what his real mission was, what drove him in life and in politics, and the success he had at 31 years old. The fact that a U.S. president, a vice president, most of the cabinet, many members of Congress, and maybe 60,000 people are going to turn out for his funeral is incredible for a 31-year-old individual. That's a pretty impactful kind of life. So I hope they focus on that and lift people up rather than conspiracies and try and tear people down.
I almost don't want to say this because I don't want to wreck what you just said, but it's interesting that on the flyer for the funeral they don't have his picture and they have the picture of elected leaders. So I think
really?
Yeah, she probably work a little harder on that messaging, but that's what one person apparently thought was worthwhile. Lots more to get to. She's Kristin, I'm Steve. Thanks for a lot. We got a lot of texts. We'll try to sample as much as we can. 855-616-1620. We have local news coming up with Connie Weber. Before we get to any of that, here's the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says the ball is in Chuck Schumer's court to avoid a government shutdown. That's after the House passed a short-term government funding bill. It faces an uncertain future in the Senate, where it needs 60 votes to pass. House Minority Whip Catherine Clark, a Democrat, called the bill a betrayal.
Nowhere is this betrayal of the American people more evident than the Republicans' deep cuts in health care, denying millions of Americans the ability to get the care they need.
Government funding runs out September 30th. On Capitol Hill, former Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta is being deposed behind closed doors over a plea deal he negotiated with Jeffrey Epstein while he was a U.S. attorney in 2008. President Trump spoke with Chinese leader Xi Jinping by phone as the two sides could reach a deal on the fate of TikTok. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A Milwaukee firefighter hurt battling a blaze this morning. Happened near 38th and Wright as crews responded to a heavy fire in a vacant home where the roof later collapsed. Firefighter went to the hospital but has already been released. A Slender Man stabber gets her release plan approved. A judge has signed off on the latest plan for Morgan Geyser to leave Winnebago Mental Health Institute and transition to a community facility. This comes after Geyser was initially granted conditional release in January, but encountered a series of postponed hearings and rejected placement plans. Court records say the plan signed Wednesday is confidential. Geyser will have her GPS monitoring and medication monitoring during her release. She was found not guilty by reason of mental defect in 2014 for attempting to stab her classmate Peyton Leichner to death to appease the fictional character Slender Man. 4 meal sites in Milwaukee County will close at the end of the month. Program provided by Milwaukee Christian Center serves seniors and low-income residents, mostly at City of Milwaukee Housing Authority locations. County Board voted 11-7 to close sites where fewer than 10% of building residents use the service. Funds saved by the closures will cover a budget shortfall at the Milwaukee Christian Center. 17 dining sites will remain open. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 27 points at 46,115. NASDAQ up 28, 22,499. S&P 500 down a point at 6,630. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still pretty light out there. We do have a disabled vehicle. It is off on the right shoulder. This is going to be I-43 south at the ramp from I-94 east. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny today with a high near 75. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tonight, an overnight low around 64. That chance of storms is going to stick around through the weekend. High Saturday 75. Same for Sunday. Chance of storms, thunderstorms also possible Monday afternoon. Partly sunny with a high near 76. And just a slight chance of storms on Tuesday in the afternoon with a high near 72. 71 in Madison, 66 in Green Bay, 71 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Does our Inspired Closets team make dreams come true?
Every day, Dan. From consultation to design to installation, the whole process is built around our clients.
Which is how we earn our 5-star reviews. It's our team that makes the difference.
Inspired Closets is more than just organization. It's an investment in you.
Get started today at inspiredclosets.com.
Inspired Closets Milwaukee, a wife and husband team.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
With the fall colors setting in, now is the time to experience the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club and the beautiful drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest and get your free dinner. WTMJ's John Mercure here. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free at the Fox and Hounds. Ice cream, drinks, desserts, always. Buy one, get one free. Don't you just love a great, perfectly prepared steak? Your second steak dinner is free. Steak and lobster, that delicious tender lobster. Roast duck, salmon, big fresh salad, any entree, buy one, get one free. That's spectacular. Unwind with an old-fashioned, choose from over 20 bourbons, 100 wines, 8 beautiful, unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill, one of the most spectacular fall drives in Wisconsin. The Friday haddock fish fry, one of the best. All you can eat, all other dinners are buy one, get one free. Dinner starts at 4. Get early, and now serving lunch on Saturdays from 11. Tables are open. Make a quick call. Reserve your table at my favorite spot, the Fox and Hounds.
Well, guys, the big story is that Jimmy Kimmel was suspended by ABC after pressure from the FCC, leaving everyone thinking WTF.
Oh, little Jimmy Fallon to lighten the mood. Obviously,
Fallon he did the worst of anybody last night.
Yeah, what I used to sample for nightly TV is now none of what I sample. I spent most of my time this week in the evenings watching a Italian couple renovate an old farm estate they bought, and it's the most of it they don't even talk. I will literally watch.
Talk about turning down the temperature.
Absolutely. I'm dialing it way the hell back. So I'm watching this guy sand an old shutter on it. It's like,
who needs blood pressure medicine when
my
you
God,
have
it's like the most relaxing.
HGTV?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not have that on my bingo card this morning.
All right. So obviously, Jimmy Kimmel is indefinitely suspended for comments he made. Not the first comments he made, because that was very, I thought, appropriate, which I read yesterday, and I can find him. Maybe I'll try to read him at some point in the next half hour. But what he said on his show, there's a lot to this.
So should we tear apart the joke itself first? Should we get to right? Like, what? I mean,
if he wants.
Did you see the full clip?
I did.
Of the setup.
I did.
And then the video of Trump, and then the joke.
I did.
So, is it the best joke that's ever been told?
No.
Is it the best setup? Absolutely not. Is the video part of President Trump pretty jarring to see, and like in any other way, shape, or form on any other day, like if there hadn't been a tragedy, like fair game? Absolutely. Sir, you lost a friend. And he goes, I'm doing good. And he's talking about trucks. Like that is a opportunity for a comic, right?
I got to be honest. I thought that was clipped. I don't think those were contemporaneous. I think they asked that question and put in a different answer.
No, they didn't. That's what he said. He said, I think pretty good. And there is no cut. That is how Trump answered that question. Oh, he walks from the chopper to the White House, and there's the reporter standing there. That was not edited together. That is how Trump responded.
Certain of that?
I'm 100% positive. And so it's the setup, where the setup for the joke is MAGA spent the weekend trying to convince the world that this shooter was anyone other than one of them. Are there some words in there that are not 1,000,000% locked down, absolutely true? I don't know. That's not my job. It's also not the job of a comic. But any reasonable person who follows the news can know that in the wake of the assassination, first it was, this is a leftist. Oh, now it's a groyper. Oh, now it's a trans conspiracy. There actually have been multiple attempts by folks in the MAGA movement to say this wasn't our guy, it was somebody else, it was somebody else, it was somebody else. To me, that makes it defensible, even if it's not particularly funny or relevant to the setup video and the joke about how this is not how someone grieves a friend, this is how a 4-year-old grieves a goldfish. So that's the joke itself. Again, the video part of Trump was pretty absurd. I thought the setup was fine. And Jimmy Kimmel is not, a newsman. He's an entertainer. You probably view that joke and the setup a little bit differently.
Yeah, because in my opinion, he knew what he was saying in the setup was false, because the charges had already been outlined by the prosecutor and by the governor, and they described this troubled young man and him being radicalized and being on the left. And yes, his parents were registered Republicans. In Utah, you have to register. He was unaffiliated. To the best of my knowledge, the kid never voted once, but mom and dad were registered Republicans. That's all true. But that doesn't mean he's part of MAGA. He had gotten radicalized somehow, some way. This is a very smart kid at one point. He got a 34 on his ACT. He got a full ride scholarship to college and only lasted a semester. So something went off the rails there, and a lot of people missed it. But as it relates to Jimmy Kimmel, I think he knew what he was saying was if not over the line, right at the line, and yet he said it anyway. Where you and I differ is the consequence of saying what he said. I believe he was suspended, not fired, because Sinclair and Next Star, the two main ABC affiliates, they said, we're not going to carry the show anymore. And so ABC, the parent company, said, well, we don't have any choice because that's 100 million viewers between those two. And so they suspended him. So it was a business decision where you and I are in agreement. I don't think the Chairman Carr of the FCC should have said anything about this. The president, I would recommend he didn't say anything, but I'm not going to ever win on that. So he's going to have an opinion, and he's going to state his opinion. But the FCC chairman should never be saying anything like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
And that the timeline here is really important. So Kimmel did that taping on Monday afternoon. The first appearance in court was Monday, but it was Tuesday that all those texts were released. So that matters. It also matters that Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC, went on a podcast and said, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. And that is what then led Nexstar and Sinclair and others to start responding. That is what then became an issue for the parent company, and that is when they folded.
Because let's not forget that Disney's trying to acquire Fubo, and Nexstar is trying to acquire Tegna.
So they made a business decision.
Both of which that need an FCC approval.
And if Carr had just shut his damn mouth and never said a thing, this would be a very different conversation.
Right. I think that's right.
Instead, it looks like the government is coercing businesses to police speech, which is as bad as the government censoring.
I don't believe they did that, but they created that perception for sure by him speaking out.
What's the distinction?
Well, I think they made a business decision. We got 100 million of our viewers who aren't going to get this. They're going to carry local content versus the national content.
I get that part. I thought you were saying the Carr distinction is less relevant than maybe I think it is.
Oh, well, I think this occurred despite what he said. It would have happened anyway. So he didn't have to say that. And I think we would have gotten to the same point with Sinclair and with Nexstar. I think they would have said, hey, our audience are mostly in red states. We can't have this.
Those station ownership groups always have power, but Carr so far went over the line. He should know what not to say, but he should know that that's not something he should ever engage in.
Right.
Once you start crossing these lines, you don't get back to any kind of
and you lose credibility.
In 2019,
right?
Brendan Carr, quote, should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the public interest.
That's the right answer.
In 2019, that was Brendan Carr. That was not Brendan Carr this week saying we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way and invoking fines and pulling of licenses.
We could literally spend an hour or more taking anybody in politics today and saying, this is what they said 4 years ago, including J.D. Vance, his opinion of the President of the United States, who he now works closely with. He wasn't a big fan. And he called him some pretty bad words. So all of these things, I don't care. I need to know where the line is now, and I don't want to cross when it becomes, I think, illegal. That's my question. Is this illegal?
So you have no problem with hypocrisy in public life?
There's always hypocrisy in public life because no one ever holds them to account. The people are supposed to.
But that's our job.
We don't do our job. That's what I'm saying. We keep putting the same idiots in the same jobs over and over again. We just change them around a little bit.
I think an evolution like that from Mr. Carr begs the question, why? Right? This is not evolving on a policy position where you're saying, I want to go from 28% tax rate to 27% tax rate. It's a pretty fundamental flip.
Yeah, I mean, culture has changed. There's no question about that. And what was acceptable 5 years ago isn't acceptable today. And Carr should sit back and let nature take its course, right? I don't think he should be engaging on any of this stuff. And I'm going to get texts from people saying, well, you didn't say Trump was deplatformed.
Oh, you're getting texts.
The president of the United States was deplatformed. Yeah, he was. And that was wrong, too. We don't know where the lines are on free speech right now. And I think that's a little bit scary.
Despite the fact that Trump he has an executive order regarding free speech, and yet is also the same one saying, I think they should pull the licenses of anyone who's critical of me.
Let's stay here if we can, because
all right, we'll come. We gotta take a break.
Yeah.
Let's come back.
All right,
It's point
Bill,
taken.
Joe, point taken. Kristin, Steve, 620 WTMJ.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or accuratebasementrepair.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
I know why you continue to live in pain. It's because you don't believe anything can be done to help. Maybe you bought into something and you've been burned before. I mean, your skepticism, it's understandable. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. And here we use powerful, anti-inflammatory, and cushioning pharmacological medicines to ease your pain. They're FDA approved, and most medical insurance is going to pay for our treatments, including Medicare and Medicaid. And that's the litmus test. Because if insurance has shown to cover the cost of many of our patients' treatments, you can be sure it's valid medicine. It's not a biological treatment considered experimental or some new gimmick that's trying to hook you. The Rejuvenex approach to pain relief is legitimate. It helps to alleviate pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. And from what we've seen, it gives people a new lease on their lives.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Call today, and there's a good chance we'll see you tomorrow.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Lots of great conversation to be had here every Friday with Bill and Joe. Kristin and Steve, point taken on 620 WTMJ. If you miss any or all, and I encourage you to listen for the full 2 hours because they're going to be here for the full 2 hours and a lot to talk about. I guess a couple textures sort of put me on this track. Conservatives, Republicans have been known sort of hands off a lot of this stuff. Like broadcasting, it's like, we don't need to be involved. Let that sort out, or almost anything. Like, let the folks figure it out. Let's have less laws. And it seems like in sort of this weird way with executive orders and actions, orders coming down from the Oval Office to some of these agencies, cabinet secretaries, we are so far in now on this stuff. We're basically having one person, the President of the United States, duly elected, who's controlling everything, and that's not small government to me. That's horrible government.
So the Republican Party believes in smaller government, period, full stop. And some of the things we're seeing, and some of your guests on other days of the week, or I consider friends, I don't know them super well, would share that view that today some of the things that are going on are more big government. I mean, as it relates to the FCC as but one example, the complaint shouldn't be coming from them or from the White House. It should be coming from some impacted person, right? They should say, file a complaint with the FCC. There is a process. They run through the due process, and then it gets adjudicated, right? That's how it would work normally, so that whoever claim is against could defend themselves, right? But when it's coming from political folks in the White House or in the Congress, all of a sudden you got to wonder, can they defend themselves against that? And our side felt that for 5 years, trust me, during COVID and during the Biden administration. It wasn't right then, and it's not right now. I think we ought to let regulatory agencies be independent and do their thing.
So the fact that, because I think we were just talking about the FCC, and you personally think that the next Star Sinclair thing would have happened regardless of Carr. We don't know that for sure, but that is your opinion.
Fair enough.
There is a pattern, though, of what has been, I think, weaponized in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. J.D. Vance saying, call their employer, as far as basically tattling on people who are, and adding them to the 60-person database of people who are saying anything about Charlie Kirk, except that's positive, online. There is Pam Bondi saying that she wants to make the differentiation between free speech and hate speech. There is... Which
made me think I knew more about the law than she did.
Exactly.
And I'm not an attorney.
Not a great sign.
Not a great sign.
And this is on the heels of... it was also Marco Rubio. There's also been things about pulling people's visas and passports, depending on what they say on social media. And so there is a pattern of policing speech that is coming from more than just the FCC that is worrying. And I think there are people, there's Tucker Carlson this week, Megyn Kelly this week, there are people within MAGA, within the right, who are like, also have their hackles up of being like, what are we doing here? And so how do you square that right now?
Well, it's letting the regulators do what they would do on their own without influence, undue influence from political folks, and set a precedent, right? If we didn't like what happened during the Biden administration, and there's countless examples on that, then do the opposite, right? Don't do the same and then put it on steroids. That part is foreign to me, and I don't understand it. Tucker Carlson, I used to be a big fan. I think he's kind of gone off the rails. Thankfully for me, he hasn't gone off the rails as much as Candace Owens, who is now completely bizarre.
All right, we got a break. But I was right on Tucker. I was right on Elon.
I'm not there with you yet, but
I might hit that trifecta.
Scoreboard. Who was the third person?
Scoreboard. He's the president of the United
that
States.
One. Yeah, of course.
How did you not figure that out? Duh. Kristen, Steve, point taken.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Accurate Basement Repair. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey from Mission 94 Firearms Education Center in Kenosha. Look, I've never been a gun person, but I figured we have guns in the home, so it was finally time to learn how to safely load and shoot. So I went to Mission 94 with an open mind and ended up having a blast. Mission 94 is a welcoming environment for everyone at every experience level. I love how they prioritize education and training, and the staff made me feel comfortable in their state-of-the-art facility. It's a fantastic atmosphere. Check it out for yourself. Just Google Mission 94.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drugged driving, and let's achieve 0 preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Acunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Unfortunately, it's not too early to start thinking about those upcoming heating bills. At Hometown's huge New Berlin showroom, you can compare energy-efficient windows from Anderson, Pella, Marvin, and more. Like me, you'll get a dedicated project consultant to guide you to the products that best fit your home, style, and budget, along with employee carpenters who respect your home. Do what I did. Contact Hometown Windows and Doors today. Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. 414-329-1200 or online at hometownwindows.com.
Shop smarter with Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan, just a few seconds across the Wisconsin border. Award-winning, organically grown, quality products you can trust. Don't settle for knockoffs in Wisconsin. Get the real deal at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, we talked so much in the first hour that you each got 30 seconds. Final thoughts on this subject.
Tale as old as time, the tension between the state and the First Amendment. We are now in the most dangerous time for the First Amendment since the Alien and Sedition Acts enacted under our second president, John Adams. A 2024 unanimous decision of the United States Supreme Court, I am quoting, "Government officials cannot attempt to coerce private parties in order to punish or suppress views that the government disfavors. Let's be better."
Cardinal Timothy Dolan, Catholic. I'm a Catholic. Wow. Cardinal Timothy Dolan says, the more I learned about Charlie Kirk, I thought this guy's a modern-day St. Paul. He was a missionary, an evangelist, a hero. He's one, I think, that knew what Jesus meant when he said, the truth will set you free. That gets back to my first point of the day, which is you got to listen to people. Actually listen to what they're saying to understand what they really mean and who they are.
And you don't have to like what they say. Those two things can both exist. All right. Lots to get to. We haven't even got to the fiscal cliff crisis, whatever that's going to be. And
looming government shutdown. We got new candidates in Wisconsin running for governor.
Candidates. Yeah, more people to have on the show. All right. She's Chris and I'm Steve. Point taken. News is next.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a serious impact on your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we've dug into the details, and we want to make sure you know what's really at stake. The Big Beautiful Bill includes sweeping updates to tax brackets, Social Security thresholds, Medicare premiums, and retirement account rules. And for many retirees, it could mean higher taxes on your savings, more limits on deductions, and unexpected changes to your income plan. Maybe you're already retired, or maybe you're just a few years away. Either way, what you don't know could cost you thousands. That's why we're offering Wisconsin residents a free educational guide to help you understand how the new bill may impact retirees and questions to discuss with your trusted financial advisor. Just text the word tax to 414-897-9522. That's tax, T-A-X, to 414-897-9522. You'll get immediate access to expert insights from the team at Drake & Associates, retirement planners who have been serving Wisconsin for over 20 years. We focus on tax-efficient retirement planning, helping you keep more of your money, avoiding surprises, and staying ahead of the curve no matter what Congress throws your way. So before the Big Beautiful Bill takes a bite out of your hard-earned savings, let's make sure your plan is designed to help prepare for uncertainty. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. That's TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping build retirement confidence right here in Wisconsin.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders. And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right. Because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
The Brewers are ready for fall. As for the Cardinals, well, they fell off a long time ago.
Ranging to his left is Durbin. Field spins and throws to first in time.
The Brewers take on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Our coverage starts tonight at 6 with Brewers warm-up. We are your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
.01, we have 71 degrees, partly sunny today with a high near 75. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The search for a Pewaukee native who allegedly killed his 3 daughters appears to have come to an end.
Travis Decker, an expert in wilderness survival from his time in the military, was believed to have been hiding out in the mountains of Washington state after investigators said he killed his 3 young daughters during a parental visit in May. They were murdered at a campsite near Leavenworth, Washington. Now, human remains have been found in a remote area near Leavenworth. The local sheriff saying they are believed to be Decker's remains, but a positive ID is still pending. Alex Stone, EBC News.
The House passed a short-term government funding bill ahead of a September 30th shutdown deadline.
The yeas are 217, the nays are 212. The bill is passed.
Only one Democrat voting yes with Republicans. 2 Republicans voted no. Republican leaders who crafted the bill hoping Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer will back down from forcing a government shutdown, as the New York senator previously did in March. However, the legislation is expected to be rejected by the Senate. Sunday's memorial service for conservative activist Charlie Kirk will reportedly have Super Bowl-level security. The memorial for Kirk, who was killed by an assassin's bullet last week in Utah, will be held at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, home of the NFL's Cardinals. Secret Service will be coordinating security with state, local, and federal agencies. Ticketmaster under fire. Federal regulators suing the company for letting scalpers buy millions of dollars in tickets and resell them at higher prices. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Ticketmaster has been under fire for years.
This was a terrible experience. I'm really disappointed.
In 2022, millions of Taylor Swift fans were shut out of her Eras Tour when Ticketmaster's servers went down. Ticketmaster denied wrongdoing, but there were lawsuits, even congressional hearings, and Swift herself called it excruciating.
Federal Trade Commission in 7 states allege Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation knowingly allow and in fact even encourage brokers to use multiple Ticketmaster accounts to circumvent the system, meaning scalpers can buy more tickets that posted limits allow and resell them at a markup. Ticketmaster can allegedly take an extra cut of the fees consumers pay on the resale market. Milwaukee County investing in solar to cut costs and emissions at the Cogs building. The rooftop system expected to supply over 11% of the facility's energy and reduce utility costs across the county. County Executive David Crowley tells WTMJ the project benefits the community and the environment.
We've been working on this for a very long time, and we reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 46% in the past 20 years. We're halfway through as it relates to meeting our goals with our 2050 climate action plan and reducing our carbon emissions. This lets us know that as long as we keep working together, working with the county board and working with the community, projects like this can become a reality.
The system will be fully operational in December, merging the West Dallas and Wauwatosa fire departments for the good of both communities.
The West Dallas Common Council has already voted yes to the merger. Wauwatosa Fire Chief Jim Case tells WTMJ.
The initial reports and what we're looking at, we don't plan to close any fire stations. We're not planning to shut down any fire trucks. So what our citizens and our customers are going to see is exactly what they see today. You call 911, a fire truck's going to leave any one of those stations. Response times are going to be at least as good as they are today, if not maybe even a little better.
Chief Case also says that pooling resources may increase staffing and efficiency and encourages community feedback. The Wauwatosa Common Council votes on the merger September 30th. Elizabeth Linton, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 49 points, NASDAQ up 92, S&P 500 up 14. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee, home to the state's most up-to-date luxury appliance showroom, featuring top brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Bosch, GE Cafe, and more. They work seamlessly with your designer or contractor. Customize with colors from Blue Star and True Residential. As a small family-owned business with one location, they handle everything from start to finish. Visit ApplianceGalleryWI.com or stop in today.
The ancient name God spoke to Moses at the burning bush, the name that means I am who I am, the name of the one who is a consuming fire, whose name scribes and sages were too frightened to speak aloud. That pronunciation has been lost. We lost God's name, but God found us, and He gave us the name that He's always wanted us to call Him by, Jesus.
Dr. Michael Ziegler, this week on The Lutheran Hour.
Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about in my clinic kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers secured a series sweep. Milwaukee beat the Los Angeles Angels 5-2 at home. Brewers on the road to begin a series with the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Wisconsin football team playing the waiting game with its quarterback. Badgers signal caller Billy Edwards Jr. will be a game-time decision for tomorrow's game against Maryland. Edwards hasn't played since UW's Week 1 win over Miami of Ohio due to a knee injury. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Packers will play their first away game of the season this weekend. Green Bay will face the Browns on Sunday. Packers have won their last 4 meetings with Cleveland. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We've got quite a big backup. I-43 north, about a third of a mile beyond the ramp from County C. The left lane there is closed due to a crash. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny and 75 today, and then a chance of storms moves in tonight, probably after 10 o'clock. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Overnight low around 64. And that chance for storms lingers through the weekend into Monday, maybe even Tuesday. Looks like storms are possible Sunday and Saturday afternoon. Saturday's high 75, same for Sunday. Chance of showers with thunderstorms possible Monday afternoon with a high 76. And again, a chance for rain Tuesday afternoon, high of 72. 73 in Madison, 69 in Green Bay, 71 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour. We are with Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen for our favorite day of the week on Friday when we clash, we laugh.
That's just because you don't have to go to work tomorrow, though, right? It's got nothing to do with us.
I have a full day tomorrow. What are you talking about?
He's got a full weekend.
I'm hosting a show in Oshkosh tomorrow, so stop with your full
Didn't
weekend.
you volunteered to do that, right?
And he got more sleep
aren't
last night
volunteers.
than he did last Thursday before we spent all that quality time
I
together.
did. I have not gotten a lot of sleep lately, so I'll catch up at some point. I'll be in Italy in a couple weeks, so whatever.
Crimea River. All right. As of this morning, kind of breaking news. It's happened, I think, right before we started our show. The House passed a stopgap measure to keep the government funded through November 20th. Obviously, this is still far from avoiding a government shutdown because there's still a looming fight in the Senate.
We're just going to kick the can down the road for a few weeks. We're not going to do a budget for a year or anything.
And so, Joe, I guess what do you think as far as the leverage or the sentiment of Democrats in the Senate right now, and what will happen?
Democrats have said that the table stakes they need to enter negotiations and free up Democratic votes for any budget deal are related to health care costs that are hurting Americans. Right now, under current policy, December 31st, some tax credits related to health care plans that millions, tens of millions of Americans get are going to increase. Democrats are saying, if you want us at the table, if you need Democratic votes to pass your budget, which they do in the Senate, we need to make sure we extend those tax credits so that people don't get gouged on their health care next year. So far, Republicans have not given any indication they're prepared to make that deal. Mike Johnson was able to get his bit of the business done without any Democratic votes. That is not what John Thune has to deal with in the Senate. And so for the next 11 days, 10 days before September 30th, that is what we need to pay attention to. Are Republicans going to actually engage with Democrats to try to stop millions of Americans from seeing higher costs for health care next year?
Because, Bill, you ended up sending me the number as far as what, because you said for the tax cuts, right? Yes. And so how do you think for the average person who maybe does save $3,200 on their taxes, but their premiums for their health insurance is like 3 or 4x because of these subsidies not being extended, or how does that square as far as being able to say we're helping the working person when next year there's a bunch of predictions as far as healthcare is going to be skyrocketing?
So Joe, as per usual, is a better messenger than national Democrats on this. Here's what Mike Johnson said, the speaker who passed the stopgap measure this morning. He said what the Senate Democrats are looking for is to reinstate free health insurance for illegal aliens, costing $1 billion and $500 million for liberal news outlets. So $1.5 trillion in new spending. He didn't say anything about the Obamacare tax credits being part of the package. My hope is the government does shut down over this. I mean, I don't think Republicans did a very good job defending the big, beautiful bill when it happened. I think where they lost ground was on healthcare issues. Oh, man, this is a fight they can win and win easily if they get out there and message it. So I think there's significant risk for Democrats voting no on this. And by the way, they're only extending it until Thanksgiving. What Speaker Johnson has said is they made a commitment to all their members that they would do the budget process in, quote, regular order, which hasn't been done in a long time. Can it be done? We'll see. Do we get to another CR at Thanksgiving? Entirely possible, but that one will be in Democrats' advantage. I think this one actually is in Republicans' advantage if this is, in fact, what Democrats are holding out for.
Republicans control it all. The onus is on them. In the past, I think Democrats have gotten sideways by making their argument more complicated than it has to be, right? We want
for sure.
this much money for that, and we want to cut that to that.
Right.
We want to defund part of ICE, and we want, right? No.
Oh, and we want a pay raise. Remember, they snuck that in once.
This is simple. The American Rescue Plan created Obamacare tax credits. The Inflation Reduction Act extended those credits. Those credits are set to expire December 31st. That means that healthcare will cost more starting January 1st for millions of Americans, right? I don't know, like illegal aliens can't get, or undocumented immigrants cannot get Obamacare plans so far as I'm aware. I know that Mike Johnson thinks it's to his political benefit to describe it that way, but there are tens of thousands of people in Wisconsin who benefit from those tax credits. And by just focusing on one issue, Democrats saying, this is what you need to meet us on, and then we'll get you some votes, get you to 60. I think that is smart strategically, and it crystallizes something you've been saying, which the Trump administration has not been focused enough on lowering costs for working families and not been focused enough on the economy. This is an economic pocketbook issue that is also central to people's ability to live healthy, right? The Maha gang thinks people should be paying more for health care next year? Come on.
I can tell you in the private market, I pay a lot more for health care this year than I did last year. And having a few health issues this year, my out-of-pocket expenses, which I can afford, have been off the charts.
Yeah. Did you hit your limit yet?
Oh, finally.
Free healthcare for the rest of the year. What are you, some kind of socialist?
That's what Carol says to me. Whatever your ailments you have to have them in the next 3 months.
If you're going to fall off a ladder, do it in the next couple of months.
Also, untold story. I know a lot of Republican friends who use Obamacare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the types of folks who we're talking about here are like small business owners, right? Or independent consultants whose income can vary month to month.
Oh, for sure.
And the way that these tax credits are structured, it basically says, based on your income, you will only a certain proportion of your income will go to your health care. That's, I think, common sense policy.
I got a break here, but as I said what I just said, I also know that a lot of people vote against their own interests every damn day and every time we have an election. So what do I know? Bill, Joe, Kristin, Steve, point taken Friday.
The Brewers are ready for fall. As for the Cardinals, well, they fell off a long time ago.
0-2 pitch is a ground ball to third. Ranging to his left is Durbin. Field spins and throws to first in time to get Pajes.
The Brewers take on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Our coverage starts tonight at 6 with Brewers warm-up. We are your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes, it's true. I've lost 40-some pounds on my way to 50, which is my goal for the end of the year, which I will get to. I've been in the maintenance phase for most of the year after losing all that weight. Now I'm back in the reduction phase for the final 7 pounds. Anyway, it's the way to do it. You don't have to get the shots, the trendy stuff, the gimmicky things like the meals, bars, and shakes. You just sort of use your own willpower, a smart, doctor-developed natural plan for you, tailored to you, with coaches that can help you all along the way. My coaches were fantastic when myself and Kathy were working with them. 10 to 20% is possible, your body weight loss in 8 weeks. Yes, I did it. 20 to 30 pounds for a lot of the people that work with Milwaukee Weight Loss. You can stop the yo-yo stuff, take control of your own life and your own diet and your own fitness and wellness. Smarter, faster, safer way. Here's what you got to do. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call today. Do not wait. Get an appointment, 262-393-2334. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Windows Siding and Bath. They have seasoned design consultants with 10 to 30 years of experience. The owner, Joe, is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmanship. It's Sidex, the best in the business. Get a free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ. Visit SidexRemodel.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi, and we are here with Bill McCoshen and Joe Zepecki. Let's move to Wisconsin. Some new candidates announced at least for the Democratic pool of candidates for governor.
We basically got the Republican one, too. The guy says,
well, we got a pre-announcement.
I got a big special announcement next week, Wednesday. We know he's running.
Do we want to start with Democrats or we want to start with Republicans?
Start with these.
All right. So we have State Senator Kelda Roys and State Representative Francesca Hong both joined the race this week, leading us to 5.
Mm-hmm. Or 6?
I think
Rodriguez, Crowley, Stranad, Roys, Hong.
Okay, 5. Why do I think 6?
Well, there's
Missy
also
Hughes will be 6.
Oh,
Missy Hughes will be 6.
That's what I'm thinking.
As she is not announced yet, but suspicions her resigning from her seat as the secretary of
Joe
the
will confirm
WEDC.
that?
Bill, do you want to be Commerce Secretary? Are we get Secretary again?
Yeah, so she will likely be announcing.
It's the one job in government that actually pays pretty well.
Still unknown what Josh Call's going to do. Still unknown if there's some unknowns. But I guess Democratic comms strategist Joe Zepecki, thoughts on the rollout for Kelda Roys or Francesca Hong?
Yeah, like I told you, there would be more coming, and be patient. And here they are. Here they come. I thought Hong had a little bit better rollout than Roy's. I sensed more buzz. I thought her decision to really choose to own that lane. I am the working mom. I work in restaurants. Like, that's different. That is not your typical politician behind a podium or, in a suit and tie or, a suit for women. Like, I thought the Hong stuff was really good.
She's also socialist.
She is very far left.
Why does she run in that party?
I think she's a Democratic socialist, and that is different. And so is Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And
so he's an independent.
And so is Zohran Mamdani. And so there are people on the far left who have done really well in Democratic primaries this year, and she's shooting her shot. I really like Fran.
She's going to be in my Say Something Nice, so I appreciated she came in.
I really like Fran. She's more liberal than I am, but a lot of Democrats are. But I think the calculus of there's a far left lane and I can own that is not without merit.
Where do you think that puts everyone else as far as to the right of her and what lane they fill?
Well, I think there will be a competition between folks like Kelda Roys, certainly, like we talk about lanes, right?
Yep.
There's an establishment lane. There's a progressive lane, or on the right side, there's a moderate lane, or there's a MAGA lane,
Yep.
or right? So like the lanes,
The outsider
here,
lane.
Yeah, the outside, right? So like Royce and Hong are both in that far left lane,
Okay.
and then it's a question of who can become the winner of that lane, and how big does the primary field have to get for that to be enough, right? And in a 6, 7, 8 candidate field where something like 30% is enough, the calculus that among Democratic primary voters are a third of them that far enough left,
so
seems reasonable to me.
Do you think there's going to be 8?
I think there could be as many as 8.
Oh.
That is not to suggest that all 8 make it to the ballot next August.
Why don't you run
for governor?
Dems like you. You're smarter than most Democrats I know.
I don't know, man. They like.
Is this your Al Franken moment? Gosh darn it!
Maybe I'll make
People
Joe
like
say
me.
something nice. Honestly, God, you're smarter than most Democrats I know.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You think with logic and common sense, which I appreciate. You know the issues. You know the history.
Would you vote for Joe?
No.
No, yeah.
I didn't say I was
And
voting
that's
for him.
why.
I just said I have
That's why I'm not running.
I have
When I
respect
get
for
Steve
him.
Scaffidi, then I'll consider it.
Is that what it's going to take? God, no. Says no one ever. No one ever says that.
So
All right.
there is a progressive lane. And Fran Hong, I was stunned at how good her rollout video was. She is a colorful, and by that I mean language-wise, individual. If you follow her on social media, you're going to blush a few times. And she had a very specific audience she was going after, and it was young people. And her message was about affordability. And it was very Mom Donnie-like. And I actually tweeted that, and I had a couple of people say, what the heck are you talking about? She's a socialist. Well, yeah, she is. There's 4 socialists in the legislature, and she's one of them, and she's the one that they've decided has the best chance of winning. But I think she presents some significant problems for Kelda Roys in particular, but also for Sarah Rodriguez. Where does their lane come with her in it? Because she's going to fill up that progressive lane. People are going to be attracted to her because of the message. I thought where Kelda Roys made a mistake, and I'll give you a positive on her. I think the first 25 seconds of her rollout ad this week were really tone deaf. I don't think on the heels of Charlie Kirk, you put out a threat to democracy. We're in the fight of our lives. I don't think you put out that kind of hot language, and that could have easily been edited out, and it still would have been a decent rollout ad. So I think that was a mistake. But Kelda Roys in 2018 was in a 9-way primary. There was originally 10. Dana Walks dropped out. She came in third, but she did win the straw poll at the Democratic convention. So she's done this. She's made the phone calls. She's traveled the state. I just think with Rodriguez in and with Hong in, there isn't a lane for her. And if Missy Hughes gets in, Kelda's got to wonder if she can stay in the race.
Well, I think Missy would be in a very different lane.
Potentially.
To me, Missy is pro-business and moderate.
That's a more...
And she is the most center left, I can tell, as far as what I know about her.
Win a primary?
And that's the question, right? But as far as...
Tony Evers did.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Republicans after the break, Bill.
Sounds good.
All right, Kristin, Steve, Bill, Joe, Friday.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I know you're thinking about what you want to do this fall. Maybe it's a romantic getaway. Maybe it's a family vacation, just a long weekend with the girlfriends. We have got you covered. It's Experience Wisconsin. Check it out Saturdays at 1 o'clock on WTMJ. Some great ideas and great guests coming up on this week's show. We will head to Racine and we'll head to Lake Geneva. How to make those plans. We hope you'll join us for Experience Wisconsin Saturdays at 1 right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. You heard me talk about Annex, love Annex, and maybe your friends or neighbors do too. But isn't it time for you? Get your financial house in order, not just for today, but for the long road ahead. In these uncertain times, a focused plan built by the fee-only fiduciaries at Annex Wealth Management is more than smart, it's essential. Head to AnnexWealth.com and click the now famous Get Started button. Annex makes it seamless. Handling everything. I've done all of these things with Annex. Retirement investment planning, tax planning, estate planning, all in one place. Meet at one of their 8 convenient locations or connect. I've done this as well. Virtually via Zoom works great. And make sure to check out their Instant Insight webinar series. news of the day as it impacts your financial plan for the future. From taxes to planning, Annex has designed these to make it convenient to get started. You can ask questions, get up to speed. Details at annexwealth.com/events. Not all financial advisors are created equal. Maybe it's time to switch. Know the difference. Take charge of your future. Start at Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Aug Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. Aug Prep North, made for more. Apply today at augprep.org.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or accuratebasementrepair.com.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based, Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
All right, welcome back to Point Taken. We were just talking about the Democrats who have joined the race for governor. Still no announcements yet for new candidates for the Republican race, but it seems like we are getting closer to a Tom Tiffany announcement.
Looks like next Wednesday. So we're not going to get to 8 on our side. We have 2 so far. Washington County Executive Josh Shulman, businessman Bill Berrien. I think between the two, Josh has a pretty sizable lead. He's been in all 72 counties. He's working his tail off. He has a base, which is pretty important in a GOP primary from Washington County. And he's close to the rest of the votes in a primary, which is all southeastern
He's also
Wisconsin.
the smartest of the 3 candidates,
He's a very smart guy, and he's done very, very well.
And more well-read than the other ones.
But it appears Congressman Tom Tiffany, former state assemblyman, former state senator, current congressman from the 7th District, my hometown, is going to get in next Wednesday. Now, that will change the race, and I think Tiffany will instantly jump to the front because he has a bigger base than Josh does. Theoretically, anyway. There's 580,000 people in every congressional district. Tom's been elected to it 5 times. He's likely to have groups like Americans for Prosperity on his side instantly when he gets in the race, and that's a pretty good advantage. But I'm here to tell you, having thought about running statewide myself, the distance between Woodruff and Milwaukee is significant, and that's where he lives. So he doesn't live where the votes are. The votes are down here. That makes it challenging for Tom, and he has never been a good fundraiser. So we'll see if he can change that, but I expect him to get in next week.
Is he a good speaker?
He is a good speaker.
Okay.
I've heard him speak, and I guess it's
like, is he you think he fires people up and
I do.
He's motivating?
Yeah, he's improved a ton. I got a chance to see him about a year ago in front of 500 people, and I texted him afterwards. I was really impressed. He's come a long way.
I've interviewed him a few times. He's a smart guy. He's
no doubt
well-spoken. It's a different animal when you're doing something like this, though.
Yeah. Listen, and all of them are figuring that out, right? From a rollout video to, holy smokes, the distance between Superior and Kenosha is about 400 miles. It's an eye-opener for people when they get in a statewide race.
That fundraising thing is interesting, though, because you need the money.
You got to have the dough. I mean, he's going to need
a motivator to get the money.
The winner of the primary is going to need to raise $40 million themselves, not from third parties.
And you've been critical of Brian Schimming because he's not that great at it either.
He's not. I think it's the number one job of a party chairman, regardless of party, and we're not good at it.
So as far as potential additional candidates, because if we think back to 2022,
yeah,
Rebecca Clayfish,
She's a no.
No. I'm just saying back then, front runner.
If she was in this time, I don't think there would be a primary.
It was April where all of a sudden Tim Michaels got in, and it seemed like there was thoughts from the inside that she couldn't get it done, and there was a recruitment of a richer candidate.
So the two names that are hanging out there are Eric Hovde and Tim Michaels, who could get in next spring because they can buy a base. They can fund it themselves, right? So Tom Tiffany has no money. Josh Schoeman has no money. Bill Berrien doesn't have the money that either Hovde or Michaels did. So none of them can buy the primary. They're going to have to earn it. So you rich guys are going to sit on the sidelines and
That's
watch
what I'm saying.
and
But
see.
do you think there becomes a recruitment effort if there starts to be signs that maybe any of these three can get it done?
Maybe.
2010 is the last time we had a free-for-all, no incumbent, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so should be exciting.
I'm excited to talk about all of this. This is fun.
And then I think Kelda Royce is in studio
Tuesday.
next week.
No, she's not in studio. She's on phone next Tuesday.
On the phone. So we'll have her, and then we'll have, obviously, Bill Berrien and Josh Schoeman coming up. And maybe Tom Tiffany. Absolutely. Because we welcome all candidates, unlike some of the other places in town. All right, local news. Here's now the latest from ABC.
It's a family fish fry.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Congress barreling toward another deadline at the end of this month to extend government funding. The House today passing a stopgap measure. It still needs to be passed by the Senate.
The GOP plan extends government funding through November 21st, and it includes close to $90 million to boost security for federal officials. But some Republicans say the measure doesn't include enough money to protect lawmakers in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Democrats say the bill should contain an extension of expiring tax credits that have made Obamacare plans more affordable. The Senate will take up both parties' proposals, but neither is expected to cross the critical 60-vote threshold.
ABC Stephen Portnoy. President Trump in a social media post says he had a, quote, very productive phone call with China's President Xi today. No details released, though, about the tentative TikTok deal to keep the Chinese-owned company running in the U.S. Both leaders expected to meet next month at the APEC summit. Stocks this hour are trading up. This is ABC News.
Outdoor living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany appears ready to enter the 2026 Wisconsin governor's race. The Hazelhurst lawmaker hosting an event in Wausau December 24th that multiple GOP sources say will serve as his campaign launch. Amateurs still trying to determine the cause of Boyle's death. Wisconsin's unemployment rate held steady last month while the number of available workers went down. Labor force decreased by about 7,100. State's unemployment rate sitting at 3.1%, below the national rate of 4.3%. Time for some news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 122 points, 46,265. NASDAQ up 22,578. S&P 500 up 17 points at 6,649. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still working that crash in Ozaukee County. I-43 north, a quarter of a mile, maybe a little bit further, third of a mile beyond the ramp from County Road C. There is a crash there closing the left lane. It looks like it has been mostly cleared off, but there might be some delays there. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly sunny and 75 today, then thunderstorms. A chance of thunderstorms moves in tonight after around 10 p.m. Overnight low 64. That chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon is going to happen through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday's high 75. Same for Sunday. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Monday afternoon, a high near 76. Slight chance of showers and storms Tuesday in the afternoon, partly sunny with a high of 72. 73 in Madison, 69 in Green Bay, 72 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
It's a family fish fry Friday at the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Do not pay $16 or more. Your Mineshaft haddock fish fry is just $7.99, and it's all you can eat. I love the Mineshaft fish fry. Desserts are always buy one, get one free. They've got chocolate cake. They've got ice cream. They've got it all, and you get one free when you buy one. Get out of your kitchen. Enjoy a cold beverage at the Mineshaft's all-you-can-eat fish fry for $7.99 today. Kids menu starts at just $3.99. Wow, it's big food, big fun. It's the Mineshaft, where I love that world-class game room quietly set aside from the dining area. Your kids, your grandkids, they're going to love it. I highly recommend the Saturday all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet for under $10 from 8 till noon. Walk in today for your $7.99 all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry, serving from 10:30 a.m. The Mineshaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh near EAA. Lots of seating, lots of close parking. Mine Shaft Restaurant.
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters.
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Heavy metal on this Friday. Bill McCosh and Joe Zepecki. Thanks for tuning in to 620 WTMJ. I'm your host, one of two hosts here, Steve Scaffidi. Kristin Brey joining us as well.
Quite the impression you're doing right now.
Jazz is producing, as always. She's fantastic, everybody. Politics is what we're talking about, but not right here. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers, who are the hottest team, Bill McCosh, in football. What do you think?
They're number one in the power rankings. This is the best team I've seen since 2010. I think the defense is better than the 96 defense, which was the best in Packer history. So I'm super pumped about this team. Both sides of the ball are, and we don't even have all of our assets yet. Christian Watson will come back shortly after the bye week, and then look out. I mean, I think this team hasn't hit all the cylinders yet, and they've already dismantled two playoff teams. So they're going to beat Cleveland.
I mean,
they're going to beat Cleveland on Sunday easily.
Well, that was what was so fun. I mean, getting to go to last week's Thursday game of just the fact that we handled both of those teams who were supposed to be
They'll
very
both
good.
be in the playoffs.
And then to turn around and watch the Lions just spank the Cubs.
The
and I was
Bears.
like, oh, yeah,
It
the
doesn't
Bears.
matter.
Sorry,
We
the
hate
Bears.
them both.
Yeah. But it's like watching that game after we handled the Lions. It's like, well, this is exciting.
All right, Zepecki, you're in the Packers train, or are you going to buzzkill this thing?
No,
All
go
right,
Packers. I mean, we also got Jaden Reed out for a little while. So
That's
it's
unfortunate.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm
I love
looking
him.
forward to seeing if the rookie, can step up and fill that gap. But I am very excited about this team. But I'm also more focused on our game tonight than I am on Sunday. We'll get to Sunday when it's Sunday.
And
big matchup.
Yes.
Whitnell at Wisconsin Lutheran tonight. Say sort of really the battle for the second spot in the Woodland Conference. Come on out, Wisconsin Lutheran, 7 p.m. Should be a really good game.
Yeah, go Whitnell, another big game. Franklin and Oak Creek, the big rivalry.
I know. Mike wants to go to that game tonight.
So I went to the JV version of this game on Monday night. My nephew Brady plays for Franklin. I actually had to sit on the Franklin side. Ooh, I felt dirty. I felt dirty. It's like, what am I doing? It's just weird because I have like generations.
That's going to be in a
lit.
lit piece if you run for mayor again.
Oh my, yeah. There's that picture of me. That one guy, former mayor, sitting on the Franklin side. But I got to watch my nephew play, and I was very proud of him. So good job, Brady. All right, we'll take a break. It's one of our most fun segments that we do the whole week. Say something nice. I didn't yell it, but I'll yell it after the break. That's next.
Arvid, he fell asleep in the Perry sleeper again.
Come on, Ben. Wake up.
Go away. I'm hibernating.
You can't hibernate.
I can in the Perry sleeper. It has 5 extra inches of sleep space.
And no painful bar in the middle of my back.
I'm going back to sleep. I set an alarm.
For what time?
April.
The Perry Sleeper, American made with your choice of fabric or leather, and no metal bar digging into your back. Starting at $44.99 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
We believe that self-care isn't selfish. I'm Maddie from Sweet Talks, a women-owned and operated medical spa fostering self-love and confidence. We believe that beauty is about feeling empowered from within, and it's truly a passion for our team at Sweet Talks. Your goals are our goals. Our services go beyond injectables, including facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. There's even a cafe, complimentary to all patients. Get started today at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
I'm John Mercure here with Dr. Kenneth Berg, an orthopedic surgeon at the Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. Dr. Berg, good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this.
John, thanks for having me.
Hip arthritis, hip replacement, it's a thing that seems to be more prevalent as we're more active and we grow older. Tell us about your specialty and how you attack this sort of problem.
Patient comes in the office, complains of hip pain. It starts with a history, then a physical exam, maybe x-ray, and maybe even an MRI of the hip. Common diagnosis we encounter is degenerative hip arthritis.
Can you tell us briefly about the importance of imaging? It's not right away you make an appointment at OHAO and you're scheduled for surgery.
After we establish a relationship with the patient and we determine that they have hip arthritis that's resulting in their pain, we go through the treatment options, whether it's avoiding the activity that makes your joint hurt or over-the-counter Tylenol, anti-inflammatories, and potentially physical therapy. And at the Orthopedic Hospital, we have multiple physical therapy options. And one nice option is we have aquatic therapy at one of our locations. Then we talk about injections. And if all else fails and we tried everything under the sun, then we talk about surgery.
How has hip surgery evolved?
In my training, we started to do the anterior hip replacement when I was in my residency, where we learned how to do orthopedics. And that became probably the most common way we did it. And the difference between an anterior hip replacement versus the other traditional ways is that we do the incision from the front of the hip and we avoid cutting muscle, and instead we spread it, and it's minimally invasive.
One of the things I love about Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin is that you want people to get back to doing the things they love, whether it's golf or pickleball or just playing with their grandkid in the yard without pain.
That is always our end goal, whether it's non-operative care or operative care. My goal is for patients to come into my office and say, "Doctor, I can't do this because my hip hurts," and at the end of treatment they say, "I can do it and my hip doesn't hurt."
Their facilities are modern and gorgeous. Their people are incredibly talented. Go to the website, ohow.com, OHOW.com. Hit request an appointment and start your path to feeling better and doing the things you want. Dr. Kenneth Berg with Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. Thank you so much, Dr. Berg.
You're welcome.
Drafty windows means wasted money. Call Siding Unlimited today for energy-efficient replacement windows and doors and start saving now. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Yeah. You keep saying your side is better. It's time to
Say something nice!
about the other side of the political aisle on Point Taken.
Come on, people now.
You think people know it's me yelling in that thing? Because it doesn't.
I think they do because then you tell them that it's you.
I can't be loud if I want to be loud. You don't want the loud. You don't want the loudspeaker coming at you. You don't want that. Trust me. And I've got a little rage going. It's gonna be a lighthearted rage coming up for the early Halloweeners coming up in our grab
Is that your
bag.
grab bag?
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? It's still summer, people. All right, Bill McCutcheon, say something nice.
So my say something nice is about two-term Governor Jim Doyle. And I'm sure there are Republicans driving into the ditch right now as I say that.
What in the world?
Jim Doyle emailed me in August and asked me if I would come and be a guest lecturer at his grad school class at the La Follette Institute on UW-Madison campus, which I had agreed to, and it was on September 17th. So I meet the governor at the La Follette Institute ahead of time. We chat for 45 minutes, and we had a great conversation. And I said, "Listen, Governor, you got young people in here. I want to have a conversation about political violence. I think the timing's right." Totally agreed with that. So I was able to, say to those kids, and he told me ahead of time, he said, "Bill, there's 21 liberals and there's 0 Republicans."
Surprise.
They're all grad students, though. All getting their masters in public policy.
Most from Wisconsin, smart young people, and most want to get into public policy, a couple into law. But we had a great conversation about campaigns and the old days. And this might freak some listeners out, but it wasn't that long ago that we split a ticket here in Wisconsin. In 1994, the campaign I ran for Tommy Thompson, he got 68%. In that same election, Herb Kohl got reelected to the United States Senate as a Democrat with 58%, and Jim Doyle got reelected as Attorney General with 52%. The governor and I explained to the class, in today's toxic politics, there's no chance that could happen. First of all, if the top of the ticket got 67, he's bringing everybody with him or her. Just no chance any other outcome. But Doyle and Herb Kohl both ran ads with Tommy Thompson in it. You don't see any of that. So we were able to give the young people some lessons that, they probably had to Google some of the names we talked about or chat GPT them. But, kudos to Jim Doyle for asking me. And, we had a really fun time.
Before Joe jumps in, one of the texters, there's something nice, and it says liberal texter, so I assume they're somebody on the other side. There's something nice was I didn't turn you off, Bill. Thank you, liberal texter.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Joe.
I have something nice to say about Mike Pence, a man of great courage, former vice president of the United States, who withstood the pressure that then first-term President Donald Trump put on him to try to overturn the free and fair results of the 2020 election. Mike Pence still at it, still calling balls and strikes. And this week he went out there and said, listen, for the U.S. government to take ownership stakes of companies like NVIDIA is not a conservative principle. It's not consistent with the free market values that we thought defined the Republican Party. And so I think these formers are always in a really interesting place. You know, Mike Pence is never going to run for any office again. He doesn't gain anything by going out and saying, you know, I think the Trump administration did this wrong, but he's still willing to do it on issues that matter deeply to him. And I think we should continue to recognize that and call that out.
Mine goes to a candidate now. She's a state representative, Francesca Hong, who was in our studio yesterday. I'm never going to vote for her, and I don't probably agree with most of the things she said, but I love the fact she comes in and just says what she believes about policy in the state of Wisconsin. I have so much respect for people that can do that. It's never easy to run for office. I've done it on a small scale. These folks are stepping out on the big scale, you know, big higher office things. It's disruptive. It can change your life positively and negatively. And when we have people come in, whatever side of the political aisle, I have a mad respect for that. So thanks to Representative Hong for coming in.
All right, mine is from one of our congressmen that I feel like we don't hear from a lot, Scott Fitzgerald.
Yep.
But he had an op-ed in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this week that I really resonated with as far as defending free speech, disagreement being healthy, and that when rhetoric devolves into dehumanization, it paves the way for violence. And so credit to him for saying something. And I think especially because we have one congressman who is not doing that, I really respected the fact that he was talking about the state of the world.
Yeah, go to Journal Sentinel, read the op-ed. It's well
really
done.
good.
I said to him, well done. It's just we need more voices like that. Not people are saying this is the next war in this country. We don't need any more Civil War talk. We went through one of those. They're not a good thing. All right, let's give ourselves a little extra time for the final segment of the show, Grab Bag. Everybody up on that? All right.
Yeah.
Bill McCoshen, Joe Sapecki, Joe on the Democratic side, Bill on the Republican side, Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi, Point Taken, Friday edition. Great show today. Hope you caught all of it. If you didn't, always available on our podcast page at WTMJ.com, wherever you get your podcasts, or just text POINTS, POINT, 6th grade spelling bee champion at J.E. Jones, which is now closed. Very sad day for me when I heard that news. Check it out, POINTS. Text it. Listen. Point Taken is the show. 620 WTMJ is the station.
Imagine that unbelievable new deck in your backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 timber tech deck builder. Building new decks and replacing old ones, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax in your own backyard. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's resourceful Waukesha showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
This summer, your wishes take center stage at WishFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Play your favorite games with your Potawatomi Rewards card all summer for over $1 million in prizes and earn entries into the WishFest prize drawings on Friday, September 26th. Your entries from July, August, and September all count. Plus, 5 lucky winners will have their ultimate wish granted. Wish big, win big. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Stock up for less on work and home essentials with another great week of Fleet Farm deals. Like 40 pounds of KT Basic Blend Bird Food for just $16.99. And Diamond Crystal Iron Fighter Softener Salt for only $7.29 a bag. Plus, get a $25 Fleet Farm gift card free when you buy $100 worth of Keen, Carhartt, or Timberland Pro footwear. Count on Fleet Farm to deliver the goods at the best prices guaranteed. And find even more weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
You can order online at martyspizza.net even before we open. And that's great for catering your large group lunch, or just to make sure we get your delivery order where it needs to be, right on time. We're big on catering, and we love to deliver to large groups like weddings. You can bet a Marty's Pizza will bring a second win to any party. For carryout, delivery, or dine-in 7 days a week with 150 seating capacity, or for your large group gathering, remember Marty's Pizza off 594 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
President Trump is asking the Supreme Court to allow him to fire Lisa Cook, a member of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
The city of Milwaukee's fight against reckless driving is slowly leading to results. That's according to new data from the Department of Public Works.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. All right, since we got most of the politics out of our systems, let's finish up with some grab bags.
Joseph, Packy, go.
I am deeply concerned this week, as we talked about at the start of the show, about what happened with the First Amendment. I am very, very concerned that next week we are going to see an escalation of attacks on the trans community in this country from people with an agenda. And that is why I am wearing this shirt today. And I want all of our trans brothers and sisters, including some that are very close to me, to know that we see you, we have your back, and we are not going to let the federal government scapegoat and demonize and attack your civil human rights. And for anybody who wants to know why the right, there are elements of the right that have tried to make the Charlie Kirk assassination a thing about trans people. There is only one trans person in this story about what happened to Charlie Kirk, and they have cooperated fully with law enforcement. That is the only thing that matters. See you, love you, we have your back.
I'm going to go up.
Jim McCarthy.
Tomorrow night is the first ever game in the new Woodman's Center in Janesville.
Yes.
Game between my Janesville Jets, and we have several Wisconsin kids, including a kid from Brookfield on our team, Connor Hillig, and the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. And we have sold out. There'll be more than 1,500 people in the arena. This was a project that was imagined in 2017. Here we are 8 years later. It's a $48 million facility with a primary rink where the Janesville Jets will play, a secondary rink where youth hockey will play, and an unbelievable convention center. It's 140,000 square feet overall. I will say it exceeded my expectations in every possible manner, but for the good working people and taxpayers of Janesville, it's not overbuilt. When you go in it, you're going to say, I can't believe we have this asset here, and it's going to be an absolute game changer for Janesville and for Rock County for a variety of different sports, whether it's hard court, pickleball, basketball, volleyball. You'll be able to do soccer. There is turf that can be used, or 2 ice arenas. It's plus the conventions. I was at a gala last night to sort of sneak peek preview of the whole thing, and I can't wait for my team to skate on that ice. That probably won't happen until tomorrow morning, which they call morning skate, but it's I'm looking forward to dropping that puck tomorrow night and saying thank you to all the fans in the stadium.
I'm looking for a photo to see if there's rafters in the ice arena. Can you actually fill them to the rafters tomorrow?
I think we're going to come pretty close.
All right, there you go. All right, mine is 2 more days on the big give back for the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. As we've said multiple times this week, if you donate before Sunday at midnight, you will be entered to win a signed jersey of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So if you text diapers to 855-616-1620, we will send you the link on where you need to donate. It's donate any amount. So you can donate $1 and you'd still enter to win. Every dollar counts. Every dollar is being matched by Nuna Baby. So thank you. And again, text diapers to 855-616-1620.
And diapers is spelled?
D-I-A-P-E-R-S.
You never know, because, you youngsters, you misspell words. You have no grammar anymore. So you got to really you got to walk them through this stuff.
Do you think we have a lot of youngsters listening to this show?
I hope we do. That's why you're here.
Did we use her age and inexperience against her there?
We did. Yes. See, Bill cuts right through the BS. All right, so mine is, I used to do a thing on Fridays. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's called If Steve Ruled the World.
I do.
And I used to make this a comment, like people that they want to decorate so far ahead of the holidays. So I'm driving through, it wasn't my direct neighborhood, but like the one next to me. Front yard, Halloween decoration. It's September,
Too
people.
soon.
I mean, come on.
So what's your deadline? Your cutoff?
I could say
October 1st is when no Halloween.
In the month.
You know, there's Halloween decorations already on sale at Walgreens.
I don't care what they're on sale. That's good business.
Those.
That's
Okay.
good business.
That's fine.
Yeah, but you're not throwing those and then lighting them up. Come on, it's not Halloween.
No,
am I wrong?
So how early do you allow Christmas decorations?
I think November 1st is good.
So
December 1st. Rather.
Okay,
December 1st. Yeah, a month.
So after,
a month.
So you're anti pre-Thanksgiving Christmas decorations.
My window is this: the month of the holiday, and I'll give you like a few weeks after the holiday, and then get them off. And it also goes for election signs too. I was driving. Where was I at? Oh, it was on Labor. I was going up to northern Wisconsin. There was like a sign from what race was that? Supreme Court, like 3 races ago. Like, how is that sign still up? Like, come on.
Oh yeah, did we ever talk about the Supreme Court race? And
There is
Bradley?
no race.
I know
the
there is.
conservatives can't find a candidate, apparently.
Yeah, Bill, who's that candidate going to be?
Well, I thought Maria Lazar, but I'm not sure what's taking so long to get in.
Hey, switching gears because I know we're running out of time. Guys, it's so easy to contribute to the diaper mission that I just gave $100
Oh, thanks, Joe.
between her wrapping hers up and saying where to text, and Steve was only like halfway through his rant, and I was able to just go online and do it. It's very easy.
Very easy, very
Support
fast.
the
And
mission.
also, you can see through this opportunity, I got to have a conversation with Mariah Antetokounmpo, and we wrapped diapers while we did it. As far as, man, having 4 kids under the age of 5, that woman's putting in work right now.
And I will pledge this on the air. If that gets me an entry into this drawing, if I win the jersey, we are going to auction it off, and that will be an additional contribution to the mission.
Joe Zepecky.
All right, make sure you contact our authorities upstairs because there's all kinds of rules about that now. Yours truly got.
He's just saying that he's doing it.
We're contracted. Yeah, they don't care who does it. I got the old handcuffs for breaking the rules. So, but I love the attitude. All right, we got to get out of here. Joe, have a great weekend. Bill, you too. Kristin,
Good luck, Whitnell.
I'll see you on
Good
Sunday.
luck, Jets.
All right.
On Sunday.
Point taken. News is next. 620 WTMJ.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex.